Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe.
Thank you for your awesome support on Patreon, the Kessel Run DX Solo. Hello and welcome to the WrestleTalk Mecha News! I am Luke Owen. Press the thumbs up button, give us a subscribe, and leave a comment down below to answer our question of the day. Do you want to see Ronda Rousey return to WWE? Because we'll be talking about the former Raw Women's Champion possible WWE future in this news episode today, as well as details on that Goldberg Matt Riddle confrontation at SummerSlam, and WWE being in talks with a rival promotion. Click the timestamps down below if you want to skip to any of those stories, but first, despite what Michael Cole kept telling us on Raw, the wrestling world was not talking about Seth Rollins slaying the Beast Brock Lesnar for the second time this year at SummerSlam. Instead, we were all talking about the Fiend's debut match against Finn Balor. In fact, on this week's SmackDown review edition of Wrestle Ramble, where we aim to talk about the excellent Roman Reigns vs. Buddy Murphy match, all of our super chat questions were just about Bray Wyatt's new character and what could be next for him. I think I brought up on that ramble this week that a possible downer of the feed debuting at SummerSlam is that he likely wouldn't be a part of WWE 2K20, which is released in October. But fear not, as 2K have clearly let him in, announcing yesterday that the Fiend will be the game's pre-order bonus. Perhaps I'm just an old man yelling at clouds, but why not give the fans something as cool as this in the standard game? You know, other than extorting extra money out of players, of course. The Fiend will be in the deluxe and collector's edition of the games and the pre-order standard version of the game, so get your spreadsheets ready to keep track of what you're going to get in all the unnecessary multiple versions of a single game. But he won't be the only pre-order bonus, with 2K also revealing their Bump in the Night Tower characters, including Wicked Aleister Black, an actual Snake Randy Orton, Franken Strowman, and Sheamus of the Dead. Yes, that is Sheamus dressed as Shawn from Shaun of the Dead. The Tower modes will see players take on stories, including Sheamus facing zombie versions of his colleagues, Mandy Rose trying to survive Twisted Nikki Cross's games, and Daniel Bryan trying to survive the Swamp Father Bray Wyatt's compound. Let's be honest, it's better than Fred Durst. Ollie Davis and Chopper Pete Quinnell will be going over this story in more detail over on Screenstalker, so head over there once you finish watching this video. The Fiend's popularity isn't just confined to YouTube comments section, social media, and WWE 2K20, however, as WWE announced this week that his new entrance music theme is climbing the music charts. The song, which is a cover of Bray Wyatt's original theme performed by Code Orange, was released on iTunes and Amazon Music this past Tuesday, and is currently second in the iTunes charts and number 28 in Amazon's bestseller list at the time of this recording. According to WWE, The Fiend is more popular than Shawn Mendes, Tool, and Taylor Swift. The song also has had nearly 500,000 plays at the time of this recording on YouTube, about 400,000 of which were me. And speaking of Bray Wyatt and singing along with songs made popular by him, segue. For losing Wrestle League Season 2, I'll be doing the music video punishment very soon, which will be the Muscle Man Dance from Firefly Funhouse as voted for by you. So get ready to see me in a vest. Not sure who's being punished here. But who is next for The Fiend? Well, going by Twitter, it could be none other than Aleister Black. Wyatt posted about his inclusion in 2K20, asking if he could be the cover star next year, which Aleister Black responded to by saying that he has a door, with Wyatt replying, "That's crazy, as he has a door too." Dear WWE, please make The Fiend versus Aleister Black happen at WrestleMania. If you don't, you're absolute morons and don't deserve anything good in life. Sincerely, Luke Owen, kiss, send. But The Fiend wasn't the only big talking point following SummerSlam. One day removed from WWE SummerSlam, New Japan held the finals of their G1 Climax, a tournament that has been hailed as the greatest pro wrestling tournament ever, with over 50 matches topping the 4-star scale from Dave Meltzer, with even a few breaking the 5-star barrier. But the show didn't just feature Kota Ibushi beating Jay White to win the tournament overall, it also featured the shocking heel turn of Kenta, who joined the Bullet Club. Not only that, but also saw Shibata rush the ring, clear house of the club, and hit the running dropkick. The crowd at the Budokan Hall lost their freaking minds. Shibata hasn't wrestled since he almost died in-ring in 2017 after a headbutt that reportedly sounded like a baseball bat hitting a tree to Kazuchika Kurakada, a headbutt that meant he had to have surgery that included removing his skull. Doctors at the time gave him a 20% chance of living and wouldn't clear him to wrestle. And despite this angle suggesting that we could see Shibata versus Kenta down the line, Dave Meltzer Meltzer is reporting in the Wrestling Observer that Shibata still isn't cleared to wrestle. Meltzer writes talent was told that wasn't possible, that he was doing what he could to get Kenta over as strongly as possible as a heel. The angle was one of the best in decades, with heat unseen in years. We're told Shibata is not cleared to wrestle, and there is no information leading to the idea anything has changed from the 2017 diagnosis that he could never be cleared to wrestle again. But you never say never. Speaking of return to the ring, and Goldberg was at SummerSlam to spear Dolph Ziggler out of his boots following the disastrous match with The Undertaker at Super Showdown in Saudi Arabia. But it wasn't just wrestling fans who thought Taker vs. Goldberg was a hot mess. Goldberg himself called it a perfect storm of crap. And of course there was NXT star Matt Riddle, who tweeted that Goldberg is the worst wrestler in the world after the show was over. And according to Riddle, the two crossed paths at SummerSlam and had what could be considered an awkward encounter. According to Riddle, the meeting didn't go particularly well because Riddle called him bro, and Goldberg didn't take too kindly to that, saying, "I'm not your bro." When Riddle told him to take it easy, bro, Goldberg replied, "I'll see you later. It was a pleasure meeting you." Dave Meltzer adds in the Wrestling Observer that Goldberg has the attitude generally if people are dicks to him to, in his own words, kill them with kindness. Riddle responded to all of this by saying, "The pleasure was all mine, bro. I freaking love you, Matt Riddle." If WWE were smart about this, they'd book the two to have a match at a big pay-per-view like Survivor Series or WrestleMania. But let's just hope it's not a repeat of Will Ospreay vs. Vader though. Someone who has a question mark over their WWE return is Ronda Rousey. As reported late last year by Dave Meltzer, Rousey left WWE following her loss at WrestleMania because she wanted to start a family. There have been rumors that Rousey could come back as part of SmackDown moving to Fox in October, seen as though she was sold as a key figure in the company when WWE were arranging the TV deal with the network. But there hasn't been any news on that for some time. Well, perhaps the train can now pull it into speculation station, as Deadline are reporting that Rousey has signed on to star in the Fox TV show 911. Deadline write Rousey will play Lena Bosco, a stoic and fearless member of the Los Angeles Fire Department Station 136 who leaps into action to save lives when a disaster hits. The show, which also stars Angela Bassett and Jennifer Love Hewitt, pulled in an average of nearly 10 million viewers on a Monday night when its second season aired. And crucially, this is a Fox show, so there is some crossover potential with 911 on SmackDown. Recently, a Fox executive was asked about SmackDown's declining ratings on USA Network, ratings which would be seen as a disaster on Fox considering how much they paid for the rights. And they said that measures would be in place to make sure it would be a success. And this has led many people to speculate that we could be seeing Rousey make a return to WWE, especially with Season 3 of 911 debuting the week before SmackDown does on Fox. The SmackDown move is seen as one of the ways WWE will be competing against AEW when it heads to TV in October, but that might not be the only way of competing. The Wednesday Night Wars are rumored to be kicking off this coming October, when AEW arrives on TNT and WWE will reportedly move NXT off the WWE Network and onto FS1 as a weekly live 2-hour show with more main roster stars. It's been reported that WWE are trying to do as much as they can to slow down the momentum of AEW, whose ticket requests for All Out were larger than any WrestleMania in history. And one of those tactics is signing as much talent as possible. In fact, it was written in this week's Observer that WWE are actively signing people they have no interest in just to keep them from going to competition. And in a very interesting note from The Observer, Dave Meltzer is reporting that WWE are in talks with Mexican promotion CMLL. This comes 1 month removed from the death of its longtime promoter Paco Alonso. The report claims that now his daughter Sofia Alonso is in charge, WWE have approached to start discussions. This also comes 1 week after the report that WWE were having meetings about purchasing Fight, the wrestling streaming service that AEW is a partner with, although those rumors were shot down by Fight themselves. At present, it's unknown what these talks with CMLL are about, whether it's a partnership similar to what WWE have with WXW in Germany or Progress here in England, or whether it's to buy them out completely. There's also the possibility that WWE could use CMLL as the jumping off point for NXT Mexico, which follows on from the rumors that WWE were interested in purchasing a Japanese promotion to start NXT Japan. And speaking of NXT, we're about to dive into the spoilers from the latest set of tapings, which includes some pretty big news, some even bigger news, and a surprise debut. This will be the last thing we're covering on today's WrestleTalk news, so please feel free to click off this video onto other great WrestleTalk content, or head on over to Screensalker where Ollie Davis and Chopper Pete Quinnell will be going into detail about the WWE 2K20 pre-order bonuses. So we're about to head into the spoiler room brawl in 3, 2, 1. NXT taped its next set of TV tapings at Full Sail last night, which saw Roderick Strong continue his feud with Velveteen Dream by setting his sofa on fire, Killian Dane defeat Matt Riddle, Keith Lee and Dominik Dijakovic have a match that was described as insane, and Jordan Miles challenged Adam Cole to the NXT Championship after he won the Breakout Tournament, with Cole successfully defending his title. But one of the big bits of news was the NXT debut of former NXT UK Women's Champion Rhea Ripley, who came out to challenge NXT Champion Shayna Baszler. According to the live report on WrestleTalk.com, Ripley said that Baszler has beaten everyone in NXT except for her, and the two had a match later in the tapings that ended in DQ when Jessamyn Duke and Marina Shafir interfered, possibly setting up a return match for the next TakeOver event. Another big bit of news coming from the tapings is that Johnny Gargano apparently isn't heading to the main roster as had been speculated last Saturday, as he came out to cut a promo that was interrupted by Shane Thorne. Thorne told him that he could leave, but Gargano super kicked him and announced he was staying in NXT. And finally, the real big news from the taping is that we have new NXT Tag Team Champions, as the Undisputed Era of Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly defeated Street Profits to become the first ever 3-time tag champs. Well, it's the third time for Kyle and the second for his team with Fish, but it's the third overall for the Undisputed Era. This should now signal the official call-up to the main roster for the Street Profits to Raw. Thank you for watching, and a special thank you to all of our awesome pledge hammers on Patreon, some of which you can see scrolling their way into my stomach. Click the video on screen to watch Ollie Davis and Chopper Pete Quinnell talk about all those details for the pre-order bonus for WWE 2K20. I have been Luke Owen, and that were wrestling.